What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that hot topic analysis on Chet Holmgren, the guy that was drafted number 2 overall by the Oklahoma City Thunder, was able to reach an agreement of a 5-year rookie max extension with incentives that make it worth up to $250 million. Holmgren basically qualified for the Rose Rule Provision 2 by making an All NBA team or winning Defensive Player of the Year. Those things can help him get more money out of this contract. Holmgren is also represented by Bill Duffy and could have become a restricted free agent in 2026. But this is where he wants to play. This is where he wants to be. He has a chance to compete for championships. And if he stays healthy, he has a chance to be an all-star or even an all-NBA player, defensive player of the year for this Oklahoma City Thunder team, because we know how great their defense was last year, number one, especially in turnovers and things that way. And like that, and Chet was a big reason for that. When he came back, he was able to protect the paint. He was able to be switchable. He was able to cover a lot of space and a lot of ground on the basketball court, and he was one of the biggest difference makers of why they won a championship. And his floor spacing ability is very, very key to Shea having a lot of sets. And same with Jalen Williams, that had those ability to get to the mid range or get all the way to the basket. And he also can be a dunker spot / lob threat that can hurt defenses if they overcover players or they don't, cover the pick and roll the right way, or they just can't guard somebody in front of them and they have to give up a bucket either way, which made sense why they took him in the draft, because he fits every need that they basically had needed, and he did it really good. But Holmgren did average 15 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2.2 blocks in 27 minutes. He didn't even play 30 minutes or more, and he still was able to get those numbers. And he did it across 32 games last season with the Thunder. Holmgren did return from his broken pelvis to help the Oklahoma City win their first championship in franchise history in Oklahoma City, by the way. And in 23 playoff games, Holmgren did give you 15.2, 8.7 rebounds, he had and 15.2 points, 1.9 blocks, and 29 minutes per game. He basically almost played 30 in the playoffs, which made sense because they were trying to win a title. So you want to have your best players on the court as much as possible. And he did finish with a PR of 18.9. Holmgren also missed his entire rookie season due to a ligament tear in his right foot, which came out of nowhere. Nobody expected it, and it ended up getting soft and fixed, and he was able to get back on the court. But like I say, he did miss a huge chunk of the season, but he was really available for them basically the entire ride in the playoffs, and that's mainly what mattered. We had the ability to watch the Thunder cover the regular season mainly without him. That was the purpose of picking up Hartenstein. That was the purpose of picking up Caruso. And it ended up working even in the playoffs. And it was just good to see Holmgren healthy for a long stretch of time, like he was in the playoffs when it mattered the most. The Thunder did pick him in the 2022 draft out of Gonzaga. And they also got Jalen Williams in that draft at number 12 out of Santa Clara. Williams is expected to agree to a rookie max extension in the coming days. So I will be covering that. I will be getting back to see how much money he gets, because he's also represented by Bill Duffy as well as Justin Hayes. And those guys been putting in a lot of work to get their clients the contracts that they want and the contracts that they deserve. Although these are easy contracts because these guys are all-star caliber players. So most teams is looking at it like, we drafted you, plus you actually became the player that we thought that you possibly can be, plus you're under 25, so you have the ability to be even better possibly too if you stay healthy and continue to put in work. Obviously, Chet had the pelvis injury. Jalen Williams had the wrist injury, and that was unfortunate, but you're going to get banged up. You're going against grown man swatting you, coming at you, blocking you, playing hard, and putting a lot of effort to try to stop you. So, of course, you're going to get little hits and nicks and ticks on your body, and it's just good that those guys were able to fix that up, rest up, and also be able to put in some work this offseason to try to repeat as champions. And we haven't seen that done since the Golden State Warriors with Kevin, Wayne, Durant, and Wardell, Stephen Curry, the second Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and the crew. And that was one of the hardest teams to beat. And now the Thunder are trying to show you that that team with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Serge Ibaka, and Kendrick Perkins, they was supposed to be a future dynasty. We won a championship unlike those teams. So at the end of the day, let's try to be a dynasty ourselves. We have to prove that we was the champions. We have to prove again that we're the best team in the NBA. And if they can stay healthy with Chet and Jalen Williams and they can play better and they can be a team that still can be great defensively, then they're going to be a tough out for anybody. And they showed that this year it's hard to beat the Thunder 4 times. You might beat them once, you might beat them twice, you might even beat them 3 times, but can you beat them 4 times, especially at home in Oklahoma City? And we're going to see, who comes out trying to, be impressive throughout the entire first round of the playoffs, but also the first couple games in the season, and see who can do that for the entire season. The Thunder really played hard the entire regular season last year and the year before, but that's because they feel like they had something to prove and they didn't want to lose. We're going to see if they have that same approach this season. Other than that, Kelly Olynyk ended up getting traded. That was some news that ended up happening later at night, and the Spurs wanted to pick him up, and I wanted to talk about that real quick. Which made sense because the Wizards ended up getting Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley, 2026 second round pick. That's a lot for Kelly Olynyk. The man can make a three. The guy can post up. The guy can set decent screens, but not the greatest rim protector, not the greatest defender. But he does have some skills that most big men are called unicorns for, like Chet Holmgren and Porzingis, but those guys are more two-way players. That's the only downside about him. The thing about it, though, is when you have Victor Wembanyama, especially if he's healthy, that's the guy that's so great defensively and so great as a rim protector and rebounder that you're not going to really have to worry about it too much. You just want to give him space to be able to do what he wants to do offensively. And Kelly Olynyk can definitely do that. But was he really worth Malachi Blake Wesley in the 2026 second round pick? I don't think so. But it's also interesting that they would go lose all that for a guy like Kelly Olynyk, who's been bouncing around the league, but he's still been able to find some homes to where people still want him, and people still want him to play, and people still think that he's good enough to help them win. And obviously the Spurs most likely feel the same. The Wizards will receive the least favorable second rounder between the Dallas Mavericks, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Olynyk will give the Spurs a stretch big man, also signing Luke Cornett, who's a rim protector and a rim finisher and a good screen setter also. But Olynyk did shoot 41% from three last season across only 44 games with the Toronto Raptors, and he was also playing for the New Orleans Pelicans that season, which was last year. The Wizards acquired Olynyk as a part of the Jordan Poole for CJ McCollum trade with the Pelicans. Olynyk is also represented by Jeff. He will be an unrestricted free agent in 2026. So if it works, they can keep him longer. If it doesn't work, they can let him go. You don't want to be tied to players, especially role players, that long, because you're always looking for the younger guy. You're always looking for the best fit, and you don't really know until it actually, happens, or it actually works out a little bit, and then if you want to keep them or you want to let them go. That's why people take flyers on guys that they think they're interested in, by not having full commitment on the player that they're also trying to get or keep for even a year. So let's just get the guy in, see what he can do, see how he fit, and let him go if it doesn't work out. Or, let's try it without giving up too much and see if we like it or not, and see if the players like the player or not. And then you just go about it that way. Pacers also re-signed James Wiseman and Quinton Jackson. A little surprised, but he is a guy that has size and they did lose Miles Turner. The Pacers and James Wiseman was able to agree to a 2-year, $5 million deal on Tuesday. That's really no money. You're not really paying them anything. It's just to keep James Wiseman in the league. It's just to keep James Wiseman on the roster because he's a big 7-footer that can rebound a little bit and also protect the rim. Other than that, I don't really see him playing too much, but he's a big body that's mobile and athletic. And if you just use him in spots, he can be an okay player for you. And you can't teach length, you can't teach athleticism, you can't teach height. He has all three of those with speed and athleticism too, like I said before, and that makes him a quality big for about what 2 to 3 million a year. That you can't really beat that. The contract also includes $1 million partial guarantee for next season plus a team option for the second year, giving them even more control over if they want to keep him longer or not. Wiseman did tear his left Achilles in the opening game of last season, which sucks and it was unfortunate, but you can see him working his butt off to get back into the league to get paid a couple million and also have possibly a role on this team. And the Pacers also re-signed, like I said, Quentin Jackson to a two-way contract. So he's not going to get too many minutes. He's not going to have a big role either, but at least he can stay on the roster spot and have a chance to continue to chase his goal of staying in the NBA. He did average 5.8 points in 28 games last season, which is really good to see from him. And now he wants to show that he deserves to stay in the league a little longer. Kings and Isaiah Stevens agreed to a 2-year, two-way deal. That's good for him. We'll see if he's able to get a longer-term deal and a more lucrative deal in the future with the Kings or just another team in general. Rashad Holmes has a personally guaranteed contract worth $250K for 2025-2026 season. Now we know that he is a decent big, can score in the paint, can hit some shots from the close range area around the paint, can dunk, can rebound, and can be an okay rim protector. Also, Maverick signed Musa and Matthew Cleveland to camp deals. That doesn't mean they made the roster. That just means that they're interested in giving them a chance to make the roster at those bottom spots of the team. Alex Dukas to sign a 1-year deal with the Bullets, Bisbane Bullets, which isn't an NBA team, but he's still trying to chase that goal of possibly showing that he can be an NBA player again. Other than that, I don't really see anything crazy news-wise right now. It's been a lot of movement still for the NBA. Celtics do continue also to explore trading Anthony Simons. He's not locked to be a Celtic long term, although he is young and he can shoot and he can score. If they have the ability to move off of him, they're thinking about doing it, but they don't have to rush to make a deal because, if a team wants him, they're going to try to find a way to prioritize them. And if we want to use him going into the season, he can help us a little bit too, because he's a guy that can really score the basketball and handle it well. And, it's not bad showing what he can do to a team and still getting rid of him for a deal that we like, even if it has to go into the season for a couple weeks or a couple months. Clippers also did waive Jordan Miller. Unfortunately for him and his family, we'll see if he's able to get picked up by a different team. But that was the biggest news for today, besides James Borrego to remain Pelicans coach, while he has some interest from the Knicks, but he's an associate head coach from the New Orleans Pelicans. So he said, I'm going to stay and stick it out with the Pelicans. I'm not going to go to New York, and that's good for the coaching staff of the Pelicans to have everybody still intact and nobody really leaving at all. Other than that, Chris Paul still is open to signing with the Clippers, and so is Bradley Beal for that last, hurrah. We still good enough. We can still do this. We can still do that. We're not the worst players at our age. We're still some of the better players at our position, even though we are older and been around for 10 plus years. And, like I said before, that only helps the Clippers because it makes them deeper. It gives them a lot more things they can throw out lineup wise. It gives them more depth, and that's the most important thing: is more scoring, more passing, more guys that can help balance out the offense and do other things that they don't really have right now on their roster, and they will be quality players that know how to play the game at a high level, even in playoff like environments. And you're getting them for the cheap and really basically nothing. And you still have a good core starting lineup, and you're just adding to that, and that just helps make the team even better than most people think that they was possibly going to be. And, nobody thought they can get Chris Paul and Bradley Beal coming into the offseason along with other guys they already picked up. But the Clippers, they're always making those small moves to find a way to, keep that Kawhi Leonard Clipper legacy open as long as they can, because they still feel like they can win the title given the right players and given the right role players. So while Kawhi Leonard, especially because he should be healthier this year than any of his other years, because he have had a long off season to get better, to work on his game and his body, and that should allow him to be in tip top shape going into the season. Then it's just about repetition and getting your mind and your body on the right page, so that way you can go out there and dominate the game on both ends of the court like he used to do back in the day. And that's just the hope. It may not happen, but we can hope that it does. And if it is, they're going to win a lot of games, and they're going to be a tough team to beat. But other than that, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. And if you're new to the channel, I do conversation videos just like this about various NBA topics. I also do breakdowns with real footage of legends, current legends, rookies, and also future stars. I also do mock draft and draft coverage too. And I also upload every single day that I'm living and I'm well and I'm functioning. So you will get a video most likely on the daily on this channel all year round. Not only that, I also do have to say I have over 3,000 plus videos already on my channel that you can watch and you can enjoy and you can have fun with. Look at this as a form of entertainment. And I feel like if you love basketball content, you can't get enough of it. This is the perfect channel for you, and you won't want to miss it. You won't want to not subscribe, and I guarantee it. And once you start seeing the content that I make and how I make it, you most likely would agree with that, like most people do. Other than that, thanks for watching. Thank y'all for appreciating the content for what it is. Thank y'all for continuing to make time for me and wanting to know what I have to say and wanting to know what I have to think. And that's a 50-50 reason why I'm still making videos on the channel. You guys love the videos, how I make them, and you love the information I give y'all in them. And I love making them for y'all. And that's why this channel been around for 10 plus years. Let's make 2025 a better year than 2015. That's the main goal this year. Let's get 1 million total views. Let's get 4K videos turned in. And it all comes with the territory of wanting to continue to do this long time ago. And now I want to do it as much as I can, because you guys can't get enough of what I have to say about the game of basketball. I love keeping up with the game. I love watching the game. And it's fun to tell a bunch of people that want to hear what you have to say about the game. And it gives me something to look forward to, and it gives y'all something to look forward to. Also, other than that, I'm gone. Y'all stay blessed up. See y'all probably later today or tomorrow. And y'all stay good. Peace out.